So, Chris Cuomo, why don't you do me a favor and stay in your lane? Man. All right, so look, I just got through watching a CNN interview with LaVar Ball. If you don't know who LaVar Ball is, he is the I guess the creator of Big Baller Brand. His son plays for the Lakers, number one draft pick, Lonzo Ball. He he has a son, LeAngelo Ball, who plays for Chino Hills, or used to play for Chino Hills, but I guess is going through some weird Big Baller Brand uh, private school or some shit. And then you got LeAngelo Ball, the middle child, the runt of the litter, and he's the one who got caught recently in China stealing some, I think, some Louis Vuitton sunglasses from a fucking store in China, man. So before I get into that, welcome to another episode of Mad Hatter Radio. Appreciate y'all for checking in, as always. So let's go ahead and get to talking to LaVar Ball in this CNN interview. So first off, this was the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my fucking life, man. I mean, like LaVar Ball has to be some weird idiot savant, man. Like it's like I don't know, like I know what he's trying to say, but he puts it in such a way that's just so inarticulate and it's just so ridiculous. It's like, and I'm watching this interview, man, and he's cutting off the host of the show every fucking time. Like the host, he won't even let the host get a word in, man. It's just like, dude, like, come on, bro. Like I get it, but damn, I can't tell you how many times Chris Cuomo, the host of this segment, kept saying, like, I don't understand. He's like, I don't understand. And LaVar Ball's like, what you mean you don't understand? He's like, I just don't understand what you're saying. That's why I'm doing this interview because I don't fucking understand. I mean, whatever, man. I know CNN knew what they were getting into. Look, it was fun. It was a fun interview. It was a classic interview. It was fucking epic. So I'm just gonna like talk about a few of the highlights. I'll link to it so you guys can watch the whole thing. But I'm not going to talk about everything in that interview because it was a long ass interview. But it's entertaining. It's fun. It's harmless. I mean, it is weird that we're in 2017 right now where the president of the fucking United States is Twitter beefing with LaVar Ball over an incident in China, which was a serious incident to his son. You know, regardless of how whether or not LaVar Ball wants to admit how serious it was a serious fucking incident. But it is kind of goofy that these motherfuckers are like beefing over Twitter. Like Trump, the whole thing started because Trump was like, "Hey, I went over to." Trump was already in China, right? And he's like, he was meeting with the Chinese president for some shit, and UCLA is playing over there. So when it happened, you know, and LaVar Ball gets into it later, but when it first happened, Trump was not aware of it. But essentially, Trump was like, look, he found out about it and was asking. He said, hey, you know, when let me put it this way. So when Trump finally found out, he did say a little something to help them get released from China. So Trump is like, hey, you guys should give me some thanks. You should give the president thanks, and they do that. The kids do, right? Because it was LaVar Ball's son and two other kids. So they do give thanks to the president and to the Chinese president. But it's like this incessant need of people keep asking, like, hey, aren't you going to thank Trump? Aren't you going to thank Trump? They keep asking that to LaVar Ball, who's the dad who's in this interview. They keep asking him that. And finally, he's just like, he said in a recent interview, he was like, who? Like, he was like, why do I have to keep? He's like, nah, man. Like, there are other people involved. Like, why do I have to keep saying, giving thanks? And then Trump responds is like, oh, I should have left their asses in jail. La 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 la. And so then they go back and forth, and this is where this interview comes from, right? So let me talk about some of the stuff that happened in the interview. Cuomo basically asks LaVar Ball. He said, hey, the president gets involved. Your son is released. What do you have to say about that? Ball responds by saying that the president didn't even know at first, which is what I just said. So he responds and says the president didn't even know at first. Why was he there in the first place? Basically asking, like, it's not like the president came over to China and was like, hey, I'm going to save these 3 black teens, so look at me. No, he didn't even find out until really the deal was already done, is what it seems like, and is what LaVar Ball is saying. So LaVar Ball, he also goes on to say, meet me in person, and he goes on to say, this is a quote. He says, maybe we was doing some talking with some other people before he even got there, end quote. So something to think about. He also adds, he said, and this is what I'm. So this is my intake, right? Or this is my insight into the situation, is that basically Trump is trying to take credit for like helping black people and like people of color because he knows he's in a tough spot with a lot of people of color. He's like, this is like his way of trying to be like, hey man, look, you see, like I'm tough on crime and I'm tough on black people, like some weird Bill Cosby like respectability politics type shit. Excuse me, like he's gonna show black people, what it means to be civilized. It's like, I'm sorry, Mr. 16 accusations of sexual assault, Mr. Grab 'em by the pussy, like Mr. Housing discrimination against people of color. Don't sit here and try to tell me and other black people what it means to be civilized Americans. Get the fuck out of here, right? And he keeps going after all these people of color. He goes after Kaepernick. He's gone after Marshawn Lynch, the UCLA students. He can't just help these students out and then back off. He has to keep saying, hey, give me thanks. You got to give me thanks. Like, get the fuck out of here. Fucking Judge Gonzalo Curiel. And he goes after 2 Gold Star families, 1 Pakistani and a black family. So, and that's actually those. I got that from this guy on Twitter, right? He reminded me of all these people that Trump's gone after. This guy's on Twitter. His name is at MMPADELLON. I might be fucking that up actually, but it's basically Brooklyn Dad Defiant. And so he kind of, made me realize that. So I'm gonna try to wrap this up real quick, but man, one of the funniest parts of this thing, man, was like Chris Cuomo like reads off this quote that LaVar Ball says, and like LaVar Ball responds, he's like, I didn't say that. And Cuomo's like, yeah, you did. Like, I'm reading what you said. And he's like, oh, well, you trying to blow it up to make it seem like, I was all this and that. Dude, you gotta watch it, man. This is so ridiculous. Like, the look on Cuomo's face every time this dude cuts him off, man, it's like, bruh, like let the man get a word in, please. Another interesting point that LaVar Ball was making is that, people keep talking about how, these kids could have spent a lot of time in jail, which they could have. But if you really think about it, they can spend a lot of time in jail in the U.S. Matter of fact, in the U.S., they can get shot and killed for fucking shoplifting. They can get killed for selling a Lucy. They can get killed from running from a cop. In the U.S., if you black, you can get killed doing anything. So it is interesting that we still kind of have this mentality where it's like it's so much worse around the world. Yes, it is, but it's pretty bad here, and I think a lot of us have forgotten just how bad it can get here. So I do like that LaVar brought up that point. So to wrap this up, man, like, this just reminds me of like Trump and people who think like Trump, like just the obsession over blackness, man. I mean, it's kind of, it gets to the point where it becomes dangerous to black people. And this also shows, white mainstream America, not every white person, obviously, but they're shocked to see somebody to rival Trump. Like, this guy, it seems to rival Trump. Like, he deflects, he talks over people, he gaslights, he's loud, he never admits he's wrong, but somehow things still seem to fall in place for the guy. Like, I don't think the guy's a bad guy. Just like I don't think that Trump's a bad guy, But I have my issues with Trump, and I have my issues with LaVar Ball. In this instance, for the most part, I'm siding with LaVar Ball, but I'm not really siding with anybody because it's not really a big issue. I mean, Trump does have a point. Obviously, he did help the kids, but there comes a point where it's like, all right, man, like, you helped, you asked, to be thanked, and you put your name out there. Now back up a little bit. There comes a point where he's got to do that. So, and my last point is like, man, I think LaVar Ball must have tapped into something, bro. Like it's like no matter what happens, this dude doesn't lose, and Donald Trump is the same fucking way, man. Like, it's fucking crazy. I need to learn what he's tapping into, man. What kind of like spiritual mantras this dude is doing when he wakes up in the fucking morning, So, I want to leave that there. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna put the link to the video in the description. Definitely check it out. It's a really funny interview. Hopefully you guys like this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.